Hi everyone, I hope you're doing amazing today and this week. I hope you had a profitable week so far. In this one, we're gonna continue the 5 videos, I think, series or 6, I don't know for sure. We're talking about the different concepts that I use, just going over them really simple. We discussed about supply and demand, we've discussed about order blocks, ICs or whatever you want to call them. In this one, this is going to be a quicker one. We're just going to go over the differences between a break of structure and a change of character. When I started trading, there was no such thing as change of character. This is a new concept that has been going around all over the place. Like anything new in Forex trading, it's just a new name in order to sell something. So change of character or inducement, I say this all the time, it's just the same basic concepts, but they're just renamed to some more cooler so it can sell better. So a change of character is basically just a break of structure that happens when price comes into a POI, and I'm gonna show you in a bit. First, let's talk about the break of structure. This is really simple. Anyone who wants to trade should know what a break of structure is. A break of structure is basically when price decides to break a higher high or a lower low and create a new structure point. So this is a bullish trend, and when price just makes a new high after breaking the previous higher high, so this is the higher high, higher low, and then makes a new higher high. This is called the break of structure just because price breaks to the upside. Same here, this is again called a break of structure. You can see the next break of structure because it makes a new higher high. Now what happens if the trend reverses? So if you start making some kind like this, then we will have breaks of structure to the downside because we're making new lower lows, so we're breaking structure to the downside. So that means we are just breaking structure. Breaks of structure, really simple. Anyone should know this. If you don't know what this is, just go ahead and look on Baby Pips or something like that for really basic information. A break of structure really helps us identify when market wants to push higher or lower and when we are expecting to have a pullback, because usually after a break of structure we will immediately have, or not immediately, but we will have a pullback to that, in this case, lower high before creating a new higher high. So when we see a break of structure, especially a major break of structure, we can expect price to pull back so we can stack positions for the new higher high. So it's a really simple concept. We usually use it just to identify, again, when the high has been made. It just means we're gonna expect a retracement, so then we find zones where that retracement can stop so we can take buys to the next higher high. Really simple. Now, what is a change of character? A change of character is basically the first break of structure that happens when price decides to react from a supply or demand zone. So let's say we have this right here. Yeah, we have a bearish trend and a new lower low being made. So our last supply area is this area right here, right? Because that's where price decides to break lower. So here we have a break of structure to the downside, and then we have the supply zone where price may or may not come back in order to create a new lower low. So now what happens, especially on the lower time frames, usually price will start to consolidate to the upside to make that retracement, and this is where things get interesting. So even in this smaller structure we have breaks of structure right here because we're just breaking structure to the upside, making new higher high, so that's just breaks of structure. So now what happens in this area, in this supply area, we may have a point of interest, we may have an order block. So let's just say we have a valid order block that matches all our checklists. So it's really valid. We identify it, let's say it's this one right here, okay? So in the bigger supply zone, we have that smaller institution candle order block, however, POI, it doesn't really matter, that price may come into and then react to the downside. So because we don't just want to take a sell limit right here and place it and see if it goes or not, we want to wait for some confirmation, and this is where the change of character comes in play, because it shows us that the bullish order flow, in this case because we are consolidating to the upside, so we have some bullish order flow, we can expect that the order flow is stopping and then the bearish order flow comes into play. So that's what a change of character shows us. So what happens is price makes a new break of structure, right? Doesn't really touch the supply zone usually, and then makes a little pullback, so like a new lower low for the next break of structure to the upside, so a new higher high, comes into the POI right here, gives a reaction, and usually what it does is this, okay? So now, because we have the lower high right here and created a higher high, of course this is a break of structure right here, right? We just broke structure to the upside, and then we have this lower high, which technically should be respected in order for price to push higher, but what it does instead is it does break under that higher low. So this is where we classify it as a change of character. So we note it down as a charge down. So we note it as a charge, as a change of character, just because price made a new high into the PY, and then it gave a really nice bearish reaction and then broke under the previous higher low. So that just shows us that there's been a switch. That's why it's called change of character. The character means like bearish or bullish. So from being bullish, we have a change of character, and that bullish transforms into bearish. So that's how we identify it, because we take the high and then we take the low that created the high. And then what usually price does is create something here, like a valid zone, and then price starts switching. So it creates that lower lows, lower highs, and break of structure, because the next one is a break of structure, right? So this is the change of character because it's the first time price decided to switch order flow and break structure to the downside and create a new lower low, lower high, and then a lower low, which is classified as a break of structure the second time. So it's really simple, and this is usually after the second break of structure we can 100% confirm that there has been a switch, and that's mostly the safest option to actually enter a trade. Now let me draw an example for the other way around. Okay, so here is an example of the other way around. We have some bullish structure, so we're making higher highs and higher lows. We create a valid demand zone with a POI, this one right here, and then price decides to make a pullback, so it just consolidates back to the demand zone. You can see bearish structure, and then what happens here is price goes into the POI, and then after we see the change of character right here, because it's the first time price broke higher. So in order for a change of character to be valid and to classify it as that, is we take the low and then we take the high, right? So it's really simple. Instead of taking the low and then taking the next low basically for a break of structure, we take the low and then we take the high, and usually this is the first entry that we can take, and most of the times after the second break of structure we can have another pullback and price will give a really nice push. Usually I like to wait for the second break of structure, so I need to wait for the change of character and then another break of structure before executing the trade, just because it gives me more confirmation. But if you're really aggressive, then after the change of character, if it's a major zone, a really important POI, a really important demand or supply zone, you will have bigger chances to actually have a good trade. But yeah guys, the difference is not that big. Usually what I was doing before, I was just classifying this as a break of structure and I was waiting for structure to shift. So the way I thought it in the past was, okay, when price comes into our POI and our entry, we want to see price starting to make structure to the other side. So if you're taking buys, we want to see structure making higher highs and higher lows from that area, and I was just classifying them as break of structure. But lately there has been this name change of character, which is completely fine. I don't care. I just want to teach you how to actually trade, and I'm just gonna use the common terms so you can understand how you can use them and what they are. It's really simple. So just keep in mind this little schematic. If you don't understand, just go practice a little bit on the charts. So after watching my previous two videos, you should have a basic understanding of what a supply and demand zone is and how you can identify it, and also how you can find an order block in those areas. If you haven't watched those videos, the links are probably going to be in the description, so go ahead and watch those before watching this third part. So now we know how to identify the supply and demand zone, how to find an order block inside those zones, and now we can see what confirmation we can have from those areas in order to execute a trade. It's really simple. Next concept I'm going to talk about is imbalance or inefficiency, which is it's a nice addition to the entry areas, because if we have a valid order block and a valid imbalance or inefficiency, that just adds more confluences in order to take the trade. Of course, in this series I'm just going to present some basic information, some basic concepts that if you actually put them together, you're going to have a really nice strategy and you can actually become profitable just from this. People just overcomplicate trading because they really want to find out that magic formula that works. You just have a really good system, it doesn't exist. Everyone needs to practice, everyone needs to understand first of all, to gain the knowledge needed to understand the concepts and how the market works, and then you just need to put hours in. You just have to have a lot of chart time in order to understand how it moves and how a good setup can form and what will work for you in terms of risk and setup. So there is no easy way. I'm just saying this, I'm completely honest, I'm not selling you dreams or anything. I'm I'm just telling you, it's a long way, it's a hard way, and you actually need to put the work in order to understand and to become profitable from Forex trading. Saying that, I hope you enjoyed this quick video. I'm gonna see you in the next one. I noticed you guys enjoy more trading videos about how to actually trade and how to take trades, so I'm just gonna focus on that more. I'm also gonna break down a lot of my trades that I take because I'm gonna start trading more often. Now I just trade like 2 or 3 times per week, so there isn't any like good trades to break down, just mostly scalps. I'm gonna start doing breakdowns of my trades and how I can earn big profits just by using simple concepts. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If it did help you, just leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Anything, any question you have, you can ask, and I'll see you guys in the next video.